Variety, different ways of speaking. Variety. Variety is term in sociolinguistics to refer to any systematic way of linguistic expression that is defined to multiple.
Today, we're going to look at the different types of English in the world. You may think that they're all the same. After all, it's the same language. But actually, there are quite a few differences. The most obvious one is pronunciation. For example, can you tell where these characters are from? The United States, Britain, or Australia? Hi, how you doing? Hi, how are you? G'day, how you going? It isn't just pronunciation that's different, it's also spelling. British English sometimes uses extra letters. Here are a few examples. British, favourite. US, favourite. British, colour. US, colour. Sometimes the British use different letter order too. British, centre. US, centre. But the major difference is vocabulary. Sometimes, even though people from the United States, Britain and Australia all speak English, they can still get very confused when talking to each other because they use different words for the same thing. Listen to these. If you walk down the footpath past the servo, my unit's on the left. If you walk down the pavement past the petrol station, my flat's on the left. If you walk down the sidewalk past the gas station, my apartment's on the left. You probably prefer one type of English to another, depending on what you've been taught or what you're used to listening to. That's perfectly okay. There's no right or wrong type of English. One is not better than any other. Next time you're listening to the telly, TV, or watching a film, movie, try to listen out for the different accents and the vocabulary they use to see if you can guess where the people come from. As far as Cambridge English writing and speaking exams are concerned, you can use the standard English you prefer. Cambridge English exams are international.
Dialect, dialect geography, isographs, dialect boundary, dialect continuum, dialect continuum.
The RP accent receives this pronunciation is the instantly recognizable British accent. Popular libraries for this dialect include the Queen's English, Oxford English, and the BBC English. And nowadays, the RP accent is often taught to students who are learning English, especially for those learning English as a second or foreign language. It is also the accent used in the most another British textbook. The diphthong we have the A, I, oi, ow, o, ear, air, or. Example is place, light, toys, towel, go, peer, and lure. And the triphthong we have the ire, hour, air, oil, or. Example is fire, higher, hour, floor, player, layer, oil, soil, and pour, sewer, tower, lower. There are some of the references are presented as follows. The number one is as in the number of another accent. This distinction between the O and O is not loud. Very many speakers with the oil coming. We have the monotone register, and the current situation with respect to this both is have something like this: the older speaker, middle-aged speaker, and younger speaker. And number two, have there is a strong tendency, perhaps of the same processes have the four horizontal tone from the number three, where all graphic occur before the voice. Another speaker sometimes pronounce the vowels as the O. Pronunciation is certainly dying out in the RP, and being respect was that so and forth may also be pronounced with the O, but often pronounced in the O is to and by the younger speaker. In conversation, if RP has a big voice, in this was like a boot, but younger speaker in the voice may increasingly be fronted in the direction. The number 5, the diphthong oath of both, is variety considerably both ranging from the hours among conversative speaker to among some advantaged speaker. Perhaps the most natural pronunciation is around oath. And number 6, the diphthong air or pair is very often monotone distance to And the 7th words like sweet may be pronunciation near the sweet and sweet. And the 10th is middle-aged and younger speaker also omitted G after S before the U. And with the tendencies, the monster in the some words have substitution and then the others are sweet. Number 8 is there is an increasingly tendency for U as the put to be the pronounced with another sound for the old. 8.2.2 Vowel in near RP accent. Typical difference between RP vowel system and many near IP style of England accent are the following. 1. The E as B rather than E as by occurs in final syllable is very many is near RP accent. In this space, their accent resemble North American English, South American English, and Australian and New Zealand English. 2 is pronouncing. The pronouncing of U, total U, more widespread than in RP. Third, the allophone of U before E, which is pronounced in either side of accent, either in near RP, markedly different from the allophone that occurs in all other environments. 3. The vowel E in unstressed syllable in RP often corresponds to in this RP accent. The actual distribution of E and varies considerably among the different RP accents. 4. Speaker with northern RP accent is likely to differ from RP is one important phonological respect. Like RP, have the contour between the air or air, as demonstrated by the following pair. Some speakers from the Midland or North England may have the local accent with less vowel push and heartbeat. In such accent words such as they have the vowel instead with the constituency and push and force and respect reason. 8 to 3 reform consonant 1. One's future of the RP action, which stay with many other English accent and those and other English variancy, but not found in North American English, Scottish English, and Irish English. Consider of constitutional allophone of the consonant. 2. Most English accent has lots of original or consonant with or with well is well. This is for most part true also of RP, but there are some especially older. In many varieties of English in British the consonant may be relied as a quarter stop, except as beginning stressed label. This another of closed door stop nose dictionary of the closely. B. Speak of many non-basic action. Why not pronouncing of orthographies R was finally before a or before a conditional for pronoun with there or where. This line following was with being in a vowel. This means that what like va have two pronunciation depending on whether or not there and following vowel. In non-romantic actions such as across far away and known as in the linking word. Its eye can also occur what incidentally is the drawing obviously what had happened historically in that lost before the actioner or non-romantic action, which led to an astronomer and far away time, has become brand statement as the real with insert. Many checkbox use as RP does not have the instructions. The accused is stated, however, that they most are RP speaker, particular jungle one. Doing is other environment as law and power and roaming while in structure. This occurs in the non-RP accent, particularly and those spoken throughout us English is with still somewhat contributed in RP. And BBC News Reader, when reading the praise in law and other, have to pull and insert quarter stop before and in order not to pronounce an other and R.
Hello everybody, I'm Huy. Now I will show you the British English and American English pronunciation. As you know, while there are many more variations of English, there are two most commonly taught in ESL and EFL programs are English American and British English. According to Berry in 2019, although no single form is considered right, in the no clear preference in use, the following are the three main distinctions between American and British English. First is pronunciation. They are different in the vowel, consonants, stress, and intonation. Next is vocabulary. There are differences in the use or uses of the nouns and verbs, especially for the verbs and the names of specific tools and items. Spelling. There are differences of some prefix and suffix forms. In this session, British English and American English pronunciation will be analyzed based on the basic differences in the pronunciation of the two models. There are some differences in pronouncing vowel sounds and consonant sounds in using stress and intonation between British English and American English. Now we come to the consonant sounds. The most noticeable difference between AE and BE, according to the Harrisons, is how the consonant R, T, and J are pronounced. The contrast and example described below are extracted and adapted from his article on American versus British pronunciation. First, we come to silent R. The most noticeable distinction between English and British English is the omission of the letter R in BE. British speakers only pronounce in printed R if the R follows the vowel sound. Therefore, we don't say it in ka, pa, ha. Further, in AE, however, every printed R are pronounced as car, park, horse, and further. Next is R. Apart from the fact that there are more R, there is also a small but significant difference in the way of the R is pronounced in AE than in BE is pronounced. In AE, the tongue is curved further back, giving it slightly muffled quality from the R when it's pronounced read, narrow, narrow. Whereas in BE, the tongue is flatter and more forward. Next is T. So when the sound T comes after straight vowel and before the weak vowel, in AE, this sound is often made with the voice flap, similar to a very fast D or T. Water, Saturday, leather, university. This sound would be pronounced as pronominal T in BE. Next, we have George J's dropping. When J's come in the T, D, N, L, S, G, the alveolar consonants in BE is omitted A, E, T, tun, tan, da, T, duty, new, liu, su, issue. Yaw dropping is a common term for this. Now we come to vowel sound. According to the Harrison 2021, and many of 20 vowel sounds in British English and American English are extremely similar. However, there are 8 sounds in distinct difference. They are following the comparison of the vowel sound between BE and AE are taken and adapted from his article on American and British pronunciation. First is V to A. In B, the background is sound V. Is used to pronounce words like hard, short, long, short, and one. In A, round the lips and are used when this sound is pronounced. R and N to E. The pronunciation of R is fairly similar in A and B, such as cat and man, However, this is group of containing the spelling AR, which changes from R to E in American is carry, empress, empress, Harry, Mary. In B, the sound is found like what you heard first and the words, but this sound is pronounced differently in AE. The tongue rise and the sound R is added. Heard, first, and words. The sound R nearly always has an R in its spelling and the E, but even when the matter it doesn't. American speakers say R when it's spelling, but even when it doesn't. American speakers say run in like the word colonel, which is colonel in me. Next, we will come to the to R. Long back to the R in short, force, toss, and low. It's pronounced two ways in A. R. Forward which are so short and forced. R. Forward which are so tossed and low. This means that for many American speakers, caught and caught are pronounced the same. The car would be different. In British English, car and car would be pronounced the same. Car would be and car would be different. Now we will come to and in BE, long back and rounded to the A pronounced in car start, but it pronounced R in AE if there an R in the spelling after the sound A, so car is pronounced car and start is pronounced start. Most of these words do not have R and pronounce an R in BE but R in AE. Now we will come to ear and From a long vowel ear in hair, bear, and wear, it's always spelled with R is pronounced in American English. Hair, her, bear, where. This makes very the same in AE but different in BE. Is fairy and fairy. Ear, British English. Ear is word like steer, clear, rear, cheer. It's pronounced ear in American, so steer, clear, rear, and cheer. R to O. In B, when pronouncing would like go, north, show, and toe, the diphthong R start with the middle of the mouth. In A, in the other hand, it begins with the back O, go, no, show, toe. This has a lot of variation on both sides of the Atlantic. And now is the end of my class. So we will come to the next part by Phạm Hương and its vocal length.
What is a word straight? In some language, each syllable in each word is pronounced the exact same straight. English is not one of the language. English has its own rhythm, completely with its own vocal music. This means that one part of changing word is said louder and longer than other parts of the same word. It is something that completely natural from English speaker, but something students can learn from learning the quality way to pronunciation new words, practicing their conversation skill, and by learning the rules from using word straight.
Now let's apply this same rule to a proper sentence. So here I've got, I want a cup of tea. I want a cup of tea. So notice I'm not saying, I want a cup of tea. It's not all stressed. I want a cup of tea. Now when it comes to intonation, we're going to raise our pitch slightly on those stressed words. So we're not going to read it all monotone, like, I want a cup of tea, okay? It sounds very robotic in English if you do that. You'll be understood, but to another person's ear, it will sound quite robotic. So raise your pitch on those stressed words. I want a cup of tea. I want a cup of tea. Now you're probably thinking, great Emma, understood that, but which words are stressed and which ones are unstressed? I have a handy table for you. What we can do is categorize English words into two different groups, our content words and function words. Sentence here. Now in normal sentence stress, we could say, I asked her if she wanted fish and chips. I asked her, or asked, it's up to you, or asked. I asked her if she wanted fish and chips. Fish and chips. So not fish and chips, fish and chips. Okay? And gets weakened to un. But let's imagine the listener that we're speaking to got a bit confused. They thought we said something else, so we need to clarify something. No, I said fish and chips, not fish or chips. Fish and chips, not fish or chips. Now I'm giving stress to and or. Otherwise, naturally, it would be said as fish and chips and fisher chips. Fisher chips, that sounds really weird, but it's what we would say. Now for some extra practice and to talk about the special surprise that I mentioned at the start of the video.
Intonation. The way is the rate or lowers the voice in the normal communication. When there in intonation is pressure, we only understand the voice tension according to the meaning and emotion that a speaker wants to convey through the way. Intonation creates a melody in sentence when communicating in English. Intonation only makes us understand in the emotion and mood of the speaker. Intonation is a combination of the grammar, attitude, and discourse. Intonation is often located at the end of the sentence, used to aspirate through the change in the pitch of the voice.
Voice and accent. And in this video, you'll learn about vowel length in American English. I'm going to play a short video of people saying the word no in American movies. I want you to listen to the way they pronounce the word no, and specifically the way they pronounce the O vowel. Some of them will say the vowel quickly, and others will hold out the vowel for a really long time. Listen and see what you notice about the word no.
No! 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 No, 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 no!
Get the idea. There were some quick O vowels, some long O vowels, and some O vowels that were somewhere in the middle. But in any of these examples, did the length of the O vowel change the meaning of the word no? And the answer is no. You can have a quick O vowel, no. You can have a long O vowel, no. But the meaning is the same. No and no both mean no. Okay, so in American English, vowel length does not change the meaning of a word, but sometimes the vowel will be held up a little longer than other times. And this is important because if you learn this vowel pronunciation rule, your vowels will improve, yes, but also your consonants will improve. And I'll tell you why. Here's the rule. When a vowel comes before a voiceless consonant, it is typically said for the shortest duration. And when a vowel comes before a voiced consonant, it is said a little bit longer. And when a vowel comes at the end of a syllable, also called an open syllable, the vowel is said for the longest duration. This means that in the word heat, the E vowel is typically said for the shortest duration, heat. And in the word heed, the E vowel is typically held out a little longer, heed. And in the word heed, the E vowel is typically held out the longest, heed, heat.